stack is, I think, 4 sleep outfits. Had myself a mini mental breakdown. This is it. This is the uniform. I've got my own diapers. The pressures from the holidays also. Let's talk about that for a second. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope y'all are doing super duper well. In today's vlog, you guys are gonna see me pack up for the first mini trip that we had with baby. It's very mini, but for me during the time it was a huge trip. But at the end I wanted to make sure to debrief on what we actually used and what we edited for the next time we traveled for the holidays, and a couple things we actually added in after that first trip. But first off, we can't get into that without me giving you guys a huge thank you for the support and the love that you showed on my last video, where I opened up candidly about my postpartum experience. It can be really scary opening up online about something like that, but it can also be so incredibly rewarding with a community like this to trade experiences and just make each other feel less alone at the end of the day. If you missed last video, like I said, I candidly chatted about my postpartum experience with regards to my mental health, and between my experience and the experiences that you all shared in the comments, a common consensus was how important it is to reach out for help when we do indeed need it. This is something I personally started to do a couple weeks back, but was quickly reminded with how difficult it can be to know where to start, especially with insurance, who's in network, and all of that jazz. But luckily today, there are services like BetterHelp that are 100% online. So a huge thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this portion of today's video. With BetterHelp, you can have your therapy sessions as a phone call, as a video chat, or even via messaging if you prefer that. Whatever is the most comfortable version of therapy for you. You'll be connected with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. And you can even specify that you need help with postpartum challenges. BetterHelp can match you with one of over 30,000 therapists in their network, which gives you access to a wider range of expertise than may be available in your area. And if the therapist you're first matched with does not feel like the right fit, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost without stressing about insurance, who's in your network, and anything like that. To get started, you fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific needs, and then you'll be matched with your therapist, in most cases within 48 hours or less. You can get 10% off your first month now at betterhelp.com/macdingle. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/macdingle, or you can click the link in my description. Thank you again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this segment of today's video. Now let's get on to today's vlog. Hello everybody. This is just how we're rocking and rolling nowadays, isn't it? Jack is currently going to the gym, and right now baby girl is 1 month and 1 day old. She turned a month yesterday, which is crazy. I found myself looking back at her pictures when she was home from the hospital because I'm like, for some reason I feel like she hasn't changed at all. But then I look back at her actual like fresh newborn photos and I'm like, you're not the same baby. This is crazy. Especially after birth, I feel like babies just do not look like how they're gonna look even days later. My mom was telling me that, and it's so true. It's basically, at least from our perspective, like part of the like swelling that we both go through, because I looked very different also, but it's crazy. Also, if you see her head like in a strap or whatever, I was editing another video and it looks like she can't breathe. Trust me, I am the #1 person concerned if she can breathe or not. So I know that there's a direct like airway. Like if I look over here, I can like see her little face. Jack is at the gym. I am baby wearing to get things done. Sometimes at this point for daytime nappies, she can go down in a swaddle and we can put her down to nap, but that's more of a rare occasion. Baby girl still doesn't like to be put down. It's just not her favorite thing. But in a pinch, baby wearing is our fallback plan. Plus it's adorable. We freaking love it. Except I'm not gonna lie, sometimes she goes down like 30 seconds after I put her in here, which is like most ideal, and then sometimes it takes a little bit longer and I start to panic thinking, oh my gosh, our fallback plan for if she needs to take a nap and she's not loving the baby wearing is not working. What are we gonna do? Like, we're out of options. But she did go down eventually. She did go down eventually. This needs to be washed. That's nasty. So does this. Okay. But today is Monday before Thanksgiving, and usually Jack and I would probably be up at my parents' house already for Thanksgiving, but Jack has a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so we're gonna leave semi after his doctor's appointment. So on today's to-dos, and the to-do lists are not as long as they used to be nowadays, but it's to pack what we can or assemble and like gather what we can, and we made a list yesterday for it. So I figured I'd gather everything and kind of bring you guys through what we're packing for our first mini road trip and like sleeping in a different place. Let's talk about that for a second, because I feel like other mamas or other first-time mamas can relate to this. I am very anxious about it. For this first straight month, we have been in our own space. We have our own routine, as much of a routine as you can have with a newborn. I have where I feed her, the pillow set up for where I feed her, her bassinet, location of the bassinet, where we like to plug things in, even that stuff, like even the little stuff, like where we like to plug things in and just have spaces for things, especially when you're just adjusting to a completely what feels like new life. At least you have your own space. And the thing is, my parents' house has always felt like an extension of our own space until now. And so I am definitely going to struggle a little bit. I'm going to be very honest about that. I'm not going to pretend that I'm going to be fine, because I'm definitely not. I also am curious, that's a nice way to put it, about how she's going to sleep in a new environment, if she's even going to understand that it's a new environment. We are bringing her bassinet. It's like breakdownable, and it came with that carrying case you guys saw probably in a previous video. We're going to put it in the car so that we have that in case the pack and play at my parents' house, in case we suspect that that's just like not working for her, if she's like not going down at night and things like that. We have where she usually sleeps, so we'll have that. But yeah, that's just how I'm feeling. We also have not rode more than probably 15 minutes at a time in the car with her. My parents' house is an hour and 15 minutes away, so it's definitely going to be a road trip of sorts to our standards so far in her life. That's how I'm feeling. That is the life update as far as this goes currently. I also do not know when these videos are going to go up. I thought I was behind for the pregnancy vlogs at a certain point, but there is no amount of behind that is the same behind on anything as when you have a newborn in the house. That is for sure. Somebody did comment on my birth vlog though, and they said that they're really impressed that I was able to get out that video during postpartum, and that made me feel so good because I was also very proud of myself for getting that video out during postpartum. It was also a very therapeutic video for me to edit at that time in my postpartum earlier on. It's really good grounding, really good perspective, because I looked back at a lot of infertility related clips and things like that to do that vlog. So in the middle of sleep deprivation, hormone crash, questioning my life choices, all of the things that I think a lot of new moms can relate to, having that assembled and just how emotional the birth was really, really good for me, I think. So, okay, I'm going to stop rambling to you guys for just a sec. I'm opening our family travel list. We've never had so many shared lists between Jack and I until now. We used to have like 2. Now I think we have like 5 to 7 shared lists. Okay, there are some things that I can't gather because she uses them daily. I'm gonna gather what I can.
Never rains in California. The sun is always shining bright. People are smiling, making plans, hiding behind their shades, and you're doing the same. No rain, no flowers, nothing's growing where you're at. Heart is fire, but baby, I bet you're cold without me, even when it's 90 degrees. Without me, I bet that you can get any sleep in that bed, lying awake, 'cause I'm not there beside you, keeping you warm, and I know
gonna lie, one mental breakdown later over a screaming, unconsolable newborn. Love her so much, but takes it out of me, you know? I started packing up some cubes and didn't realize or remember that I was vlogging and showing you guys what I was packing. So we've got a handful of burp cloths, probably like 5 of them. Let me show you from this angle. Handful of burp cloths. This stack is, I think, 4 sleep outfits. And then this small stack is Thanksgiving outfit potentially. We've got a set. This is like a short sleeve little bodysuit and pants. And then if that doesn't fit, because it is newborn and she's kind of in between right now at a month old, we have a sleeper, which is super cute. It's still like kind of Thanksgiving vibes, but that's like a 0 to 3, so that might fit her a little bit better. But we've tried putting her in 0 to 3 at this point, and some of the stuff she's still absolutely swimming in. She's at the in-between size for sure. And then underneath is a little sweater that will go on top of either one of those options. And then I've got a couple of her hats in here as well for outdoor walks. And then speaking of outdoor walks, Nana picked up a couple of these really nice and warm fuzzy suits from Carter's. So between this and a blanket, if we're doing a stroller situation or a carrier situation, she's nice and warmy when we do walks in these. So that's coming with us as well. And then in here we have our stain remover. Oh my gosh, you guys, this stuff, if you haven't seen it, holy moly, if you have seen it, it is worth the hype. Seriously, it's so good. The stain like disappears before your eyes. We have her vitamin D drops in here, and this little pack I'm gonna keep out in the living room because this is stuff that we still use daily, so I just wanted to like consolidate it or just gather it. We have her gas relief drops, life-saving, and a handful of size 1 diapers. Again, she's kind of in between the newborn diapers and the size 1. The newborns still fit, and we're looking for the signs where they just don't fit anymore right now, but just in case, we've got those because Nana has a bunch of newborn ones at her house. And then for me, I've got my own diapers. It's so funny, literally not only just packing for her but packing for me as well. I have just a whole bunch of new things to think about being postpartum. This might be TMI, but I thought I graduated from the diaper situation. These are more so like the Freedom Mom underwear, which I love so much. I thought I graduated from those and I was just using a pad in underwear, but it was just so uncomfortable because I'm just not a pad girly in general. But for some reason the pad plus these Freedom Mom underwear, oh my gosh, they're as comfortable as I can be. And I'm actually going to leave some products linked down below, whether they're on my Amazon storefront under Postpartum or just the individual products themselves. I'll let you know the stuff that I did rebuy after I figured out what stuff I actually liked postpartum. I, spoiler alert, did not end up liking the Always Discreet underwear. The large, I felt, was a little bit too big. Small medium was a little bit too tight. So either way, I guess I'm in between those sizes, just like baby girl's in between her sizes, but those were just not comfortable, so I did not rebuy those. And then there's a couple other like postpartum staples that a lot of people really like that I didn't end up liking, but there are a few that I really ended up liking and had to repurchase. So I'll leave my repurchased stuff down below, but it includes these, and it includes specifically these pads, specifically these ones. I had some random pads on hand for, I think it was my polypectomy, because I had to be on pelvic rest after that for a little bit, and so I got pads instead of tampons for that, and those ones were just like not working for the whole postpartum life, so I specifically looked up pads that other people really liked for postpartum and went with those, and they were not kidding, they're really good. I also have nursing pads, a couple pair of postpartum friendly underwear, although I just told you I'm not a huge fan, so I'll probably just stick to these. I think I've got 1, 2. I've got 3 of those, so I might switch over to those at some point. And then I've got 3 nursing bras. Literally, if I wasn't going anywhere, my uniform is literally this. Like, hello. And honestly, sometimes not even the shirt. We've got the heat on all throughout the apartment for baby girl, and so it's nice and comfortable. We've got oversized tees and the Freedom Mom undies going. This is it. this is the uniform. And then if it wasn't for the t-shirt, it's nursing bra with some nursing pads in there. In the early days, it was nursing bra plus silverettes. That was the earlier days. But eventually I didn't need the silverettes. I would say maybe after the first week of breastfeeding, I didn't need the silverettes. And so I switched over to the nursing pads just to catch any milk that could have been leaking. But then otherwise, I've got makeup and then comfy vibes only. I always convince myself that I'm gonna like wear different things if I go a different place. And no, that's just not the case. So I stuck to the comfies. I've got 2 sweatshirts. This is my Thanksgiving outfit, which is the Free People set that I have in pink, but I also have it in this tan color. I have an oversized t-shirt, a couple pairs of shorts. These are the like 2XL shorts I got when I was pregnant, and I'm wearing them postpartum because they're so comfy. I've got a pair of biker shorts, a pair of Lululemon leggings, which stuck with me through pregnancy, post-pregnancy, pre-pregnancy. Fantastic. And then a pair of sweatpants. That is it. And then just taking a look at my list, everything else we need for tonight. So it doesn't make sense packing it away at all. Like the bassinet, the baby monitor, the Halo sleep sack, the Swaddle Me sleep sack, just in case you need both, heating pad, my boppy for breastfeeding, all of that stuff we use all the time. That stuff will have to wait, but I'm gonna pack up what I can and we'll figure out the rest in the morning. Luckily, there's just not a time frame in the morning that we have to leave by. And honestly, besides getting like out of the house for doctor's appointments that need to be a specific time, we are just not putting pressure on ourselves for this excursion of leaving at any specific time. So let's see how much we can fit in this packing cube specifically.
In California, the sun is always shining bright. But if the sky would open up, you're staying home.
Oh, hey friends. It's been a minute since I filmed in the nursery, the room that we actually use more than I thought that we would use at this point. And although she does not sleep in her crib, which has become a dumping ground for many things, we come in here to do diaper changes. She loves her diaper changing station. She is like the most vocal thing on this station specifically, and she stopped screaming bloody murder when we are changing her diaper. To watch her learn and figure out things like that from when she first came out of the womb and didn't know how air felt, you know, like that basic stuff, to figuring out that she is safe during diaper changes and she doesn't freak out at them anymore, is just like, those little things are things that I didn't realize would be really cool to watch. We also do our playmat time here and she loves it. At first, there was no way she knew what was going on. She was so lumpy at the very beginning, you know, that she like really didn't know what to do with the mat except for lay there, and she didn't like laying there. So, but now especially if we're like with her, she loves it. And she loves being rocked in her glider. That is something that is a for sure thing. She is a motion baby. Anyway, that is not why we are here. Hello. I wanted to give an update as to how Thanksgiving went, open up a little bit more about that first traveling with a baby and postpartum experience, even if it was just an hour away. If you guys have had a baby, you know how daunting that might be. And also what we brought and what we made amendments to not bring the next time we travel somewhere. So first of all, how it went. To be completely open and honest, and now that I've shared about how my postpartum experience overall was in the early weeks, and that's still some of the stuff I'm working through, even though the cloud that I was talking about has lifted, it's still just a very wild experience. I'm not nearly through the 4th trimester at all, but I think it was the day before Thanksgiving, maybe the day that I vlogged that actually, or somewhere in and around there, I had a complete breakdown, which was not abnormal at that point, to occasionally have some good sob sessions here and there. But it was the first time that we were leaving our domain, the domain that we brought our newborn home in, and we had our space for everything. We had whatever routine we had at that point was in that house, you know, waking up, bringing her her to get her diaper changed on the couch at like 2 a.m., 4 a.m., etc. I have my breastfeeding station in the living room where the pillows are perfectly laid out. We just had everything in a place that was just making everything doable at that point, or at least that was our comfort level at that point. So to leave that with our newborn, and especially driving an hour away. At that point, we hadn't driven more than like 10 to 15 minutes, like I was saying, with her in the car. So not knowing how like an hour and 15 minutes was going to go was super nerve-wracking. We were going to sleep somewhere different. I wasn't sure how she was going to sleep in a different location. And at that point, and I feel like at any point in general, sleep is just so important to keep your brain sane in order to get through hard points in the day. That's at least what I'm finding. And so the potential of the sleep disruption, at least how much sleep we were getting at that point, was really scary too. And it was also going to be our very first social event. Thanksgiving at my parents' house is so much fun. It's so loving, it's so much fun. But it's not just us and my parents and siblings. There's a few friends from the street that come. My aunt and uncle come up for it, and it's so fun. But it's our first social event with a newborn who is extremely unpredictable, you know? So I definitely had myself a mini mental breakdown on the couch and just had to like sob it out, spill all of my anxieties. So I just wanted to share that if you guys feel similar to that, as far as like the first time leaving your home or sleeping somewhere else, or the pressures from the holidays also, you're not alone in that at all. I feel like there's kind of this message around having a baby around the holidays that's like magical and so much snuggles and all this stuff. And although there are moments like that, and it is a really wonderful time to be snuggling with a newborn, there's also all of these social obligations that at least I feel very pressured to attend when I myself am going through this massive transition postpartum, and we as a family are just getting to know each other and like how to operate together. And so to do that in and around social obligations, it felt like a massive pressure, and that was also part of why it felt so overwhelming to me. So I just wanted to share that. That's just my experience, at least during the holidays right now. I don't think there is like one magical time of the year to go through the crazy transition that postpartum is for a lot of women, but that's what I'm finding around the holidays. It's magical in some respects, but I think for me, I would really love less of the social obligations. And with that, I also wanted to share that after Thanksgiving, and then we also had another weekend up there the very next weekend, which was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of like Christmas related stuff, you know, which was really magical. And I loved seeing my cousins. My cousins came up. It's that weekend that everything goes down in the town that my parents are in. We always love going, but between the Thanksgiving weekend and then traveling for that weekend, Jack and I have actually canceled a couple of other obligations that were supposed to be this past weekend and then this weekend coming up. Not because those two events went poorly, they actually went really well, but it's just a lot, and to have something every weekend during the holidays during this time, it was just really weighing on me. And so canceling those things, it just lifted something off of me. I'm so happy we did Thanksgiving, and I'm so happy we did that Christmas weekend, because it proved to myself that one, she can sleep in different locations, at least my parents' house, so that was really great. And Jack and I just really found our groove with being in a different location and what that meant for us, for when she gets fussy, for keeping on top of her feedings, for her sleep and all of that stuff. It was just really cool to prove to ourselves as new parents that we can definitely do that and find our sea legs in that way. So that felt very empowering. So I definitely don't regret those two things, and it definitely didn't go bad at all. But now that we have proved to ourselves these two things, I really needed just a couple more weekends just to ourselves and to cocoon, just like we had previous to those two things. I just feeling very tired. So I wanted to share that, hopefully to empower you guys. If you guys are feeling any pressure around the holidays or holiday events, I totally get you, and you yourself have the strength in you to know what you need during this time and advocate for yourself. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much you love these people and these family members that are at these social events or putting on these social events, they didn't just have a baby, or they're not traveling with a newborn. So most likely they will more than understand where you're coming from. And if they don't, I want to say something, but I'm not going to, but I feel like you guys know what I wanted to say at that point. If they don't, then they can just figure that out for themselves. Real quick, I showed you guys or talked you through what we were taking for Thanksgiving, and then we made adjustments to that list for the next weekend when we traveled back up there. So my mom has a pack and play that she has at her house, and so instead of just breaking out the bassinet right away, we tried the pack and play first, knowing that if it didn't go well for some reason, if she just didn't like it, then we can just break out the thing that she's used to sleeping in. But she didn't mind the pack and play. It was literally just like our bassinet. So the next weekend we did not bring the bassinet, which if I didn't mention, it doesn't like fold up like a pack and play is designed to, but it does come apart really easily in like big chunks, and it did come with that carrying case. So it was easy to break down and then build back up if we need to at my parents' house, but we didn't end up needing to, so we didn't bring that the next weekend. We also brought the Snuggle Me up to my parents' house the first time, but just with more people and the dogs and everything, we found that we were not just placing her down like we would at our house. Not that she likes to be placed down very often, to be honest, but that is something that we didn't bring the next visit because of that. I'm trying to think. We brought stuff like this, like her little accordion from Love Every that she likes at home, and little toys like this from the play kit as well, but both times we didn't end up using them. I think it's still gonna be on our packing list as she just becomes more active and her attention span is greater. But just interacting with her and having like FaceTime during her wake times is also really great for development. And since there were more people like my mom and my dad and my brother, there was just a lot more FaceTime. So we didn't end up needing toys like that to distract her or for developmental purposes during the traveling moments. So honestly, between the things that we use every night for sleep, her health related things like gas drops, her booger sucker, etc., both of the carriers, because we use them for kind of two different situations, and clothes, those are the main things that stayed on the list. And then one thing that we added to the list that we didn't have on the list the first time that we added for the second trip was our hatch, because in between Thanksgiving and that next weekend, we started using the womb sound specifically on the hatch to lull her to sleep during witching hour specifically. She ended up liking it, so we would sit in that rocker, we'd put on the womb sound, she would scream in our ear for a little bit while we rocked her, but then eventually give in and fall asleep. So we definitely took the hatch and used it the next time we were up. So that's definitely a permanent member of the packing list. But anyways, my friends, that is going to be it for today's vlog. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did and you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, make sure to do so down below, because I upload videos like these occasionally. We're still getting in the rhythm of the uploading schedule, but hopefully it becomes more regular soon. My Instagram is also linked down below, so follow over there so you don't miss updates, and I will catch you in the next one, my friends. I'll see you later. Bye!